Hey guys, it's Rachel from Hope Corner Farm. Today we're going to learn how to make this herringbone half double crochet twist headband. You're going to need to get an H hook and some size 4 medium weight yarn. Grab that stuff and we'll get going. Before we get started, you need to gather a few supplies to make this headband. So the first thing you're going to need is some medium weight yarn. This is a size 4 yarn. You're going to need a pair of scissors, an H hook, which is 5.5 millimeters, and a tapestry needle. So once you've gathered all your stuff, we'll get back together and we'll get going. All right, so once you've grabbed your H hook and whatever yarn you want to use for this project, the first thing we need to do is place a slip knot onto our hook. Now, what I like to do is leave a little bit longer of a tail here because we're going to use this to sew our headband together at the end. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to probably grab about here, I'm leaving probably about 10 inches for a tail, and I'm going to put a slip knot onto my hook. Now, if you need to see how to make a slip knot in slower, more detailed instructions, I'm going to include a link to a video below so you can check that out. So I'm going to begin with my slip knot. I'm going to put it on my hook. I'm going to tighten it slightly, just enough so that my hook can get out easily. Now this headband begins by chaining 17. Again, that same video for the slip knot's going to show you how to chain if you're not quite sure how to chain. So again, we're going to start off by chaining 17. So here's 1, 2, 3, 15, 16, 17. So now I have 17 chains on my hook. Now I'm ready to start the first actual row of my headband. So to begin the actual row 1 of this headband, I'm going to place my first herringbone half double crochet in the second chain from my hook. So here you can see I've got my hook. I don't count this loop here. All of my chains kind of look like V's as you go down. So I'm going to place my first stitch here in the second V from the hook. So you could count 1, 2. I like to place my thumb and my middle finger right below where I'm going to place my stitch. So if you look at that, you can hopefully see I'm 1, 2 chains away from the hook. Now I'm going to place my first herringbone half double crochet. So to do this, I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to come and I'm going to go into this stitch here. Now for this pattern, I want 2 legs of the chain on top of my hook, and I want 1 on the bottom. So this is what it should look like here for this herringbone half double crochet. I do this because when I sew this headband together, you're going to hardly notice the seam if we start it this way. So then I'm going to yarn over, pull through the chain. Now I'm left with 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to take the loop that's still in the nook of my hook, and I'm going to pull it through that middle one. That leaves 2 loops on the hook, so I'm going to yarn over and pull through both to complete 1 herringbone half double crochet. So let's go to the next one. Yarn over, into the stitch, yarn over, pull it through the chain, then continue and pull through that middle loop, yarn over and pull through both to complete. We'll go to the next one here. If you need to see the herringbone half double crochet in a slower tutorial, I'm going to include a link to a video below that breaks it down and takes it at an even slower pace if this is still a little bit confusing to you. So we're going to keep placing 1 herringbone half double crochet in each chain across for a total of 16 herringbone half double crochets. Okay, so I have 2 left here for this row, and then I'll show you kind of what I like about the look of this herringbone half double crochet. So there's my 15th one. So then I'm going to yarn over, and my very last one kind of goes in this spot right here. Yarn over, pull through that loop, yarn over, pull through both. So you can see what we're starting to look like here. Now what I love about the herringbone half double crochet is it adds a little extra bump here for a little extra textural detail, which is just fantastic in a headband. So that completes row 1 of our half herringbone twist headband. To begin row 2, we begin by chaining 1 and then we turn. So now we're going to work 1 herringbone half double crochet in each space across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go into this very first space right here, yarn over, pull through the middle loop, then yarn over and complete that herringbone half double crochet. Now I'm going to go into this space right here, and again I'm just going to continue herringbone half double crocheting all the way across this row. And we're just going to keep repeating this as we go throughout this headband here. But again, you can kind of see how this herringbone half double crochet stitch gives this little extra bump of detail to our headband, which makes for a nice and lovely textured look to our headband. So that's why I chose this stitch for this pattern. So I'm going to keep herringbone half double crocheting here across the row. Now we're getting close here to the end, so we'll do just a few more here. And I'll show you how to place this last one, because sometimes this can be a little tricky. So our very last herringbone half double crochet here has to go into this slightly slanted stitch here. So if you look at it from the end, you can see the V right here that makes that that was our chain 1 here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over, and again I'm going to go in here and make sure I pick up the 2 legs to that V. So hopefully you can see that. There's what it looks like. So again, I'm just going into this space right here. So I'm going to go right in there. I'm going to yarn over, pull through the middle, yarn over, and complete. And that completes row 2 of the herringbone half double crochet headband. Row 3 is just another repeat of the previous row. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn again. So again, my first herringbone half double crochet here is going to go right into this space right after the chain 1. So again, I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet all the way across this row here. So again, this is a pretty simple pattern. It really repeats the same stitch all the way across this headband. There's just a couple of spaces where we do a few little different things, and when we get to that point I will show you that here. So I'm going to keep repeating this for all of my rows here. And again, the last one going into this slanted stitch right here, you can see we're just going to go into this space right here. So yarn over into that space. We're going to pick up those 2. We're going to yarn over, pull through till I have 3 through the loop, and complete the stitch. And that completes row 3. Row 4, again we chain 1 and we turn. We place our first herringbone half double crochet here into this space, and we continue to place 1 herringbone half double crochet all the way across this row. And that completes our row. Now we're ready for row 5, but before I begin, I want to show you one little trick that I do with this headband. So this headband has a lot of repeated rows. So one thing I do is I keep track of how many rows I have crocheted. Before I get to the twist part, I'm going to have a total of 23 rows that have a herringbone half double crochet all the way across. So I just start tallying. So right now I've done 4 rows. And I'm getting ready for my 5th, so I'm just going to take and I'm going to mark my 5th until I have 23 marks across here. That way I don't forget where I'm at. I can also show you here to count these. Literally, I'm just kind of looking right here is where my stitches come in. So I have my first row here because it went into my chain stitch. So here is where the 2nd row starts. Here is where the 3rd row starts. And then here is where the 4th row starts. You can kind of feel a little bit of an indentation here at the break between the rows. So if you need to count, you can always do that as well. But I can tell you, as I make this headband, I like to keep track of my rows just by marking them down, so that way I don't forget. So with that being said, let's start row 5. So I'm going to again chain 1 and I'm going to turn, and then I'm simply going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch again across here. So it's just a repeat of what we've been doing. And that completes row 5. We're ready to start row 6. Again, it's another repeat of just placing a herringbone half double crochet all the way across. I'm going to mark that I'm starting row 6. So again, chain, turn, and place a herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And that completes our row. Here we go for row 7. So I'm going to mark, and then I'm going to chain 1, turn, and then I'm going to place a herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And that completes row 7. Row 8, another repeat. So I'm going to mark it again, move it out of the way. I'm going to begin by chaining 1 and turning. And again, 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. There's a total of 16 stitches for each row here. So I'm just going to place 16 herringbone half double crochets across this row for row 8. And that completes row 8. Now we're ready to begin row 9. So I mark it, and then I get started. So I chain 1 and I turn, and yet another repeat row of our herringbone half double crochets across. And there's our completed row 9. Row 10's another repeat, so I'm going to mark it. I'm almost halfway there. And then I'm going to chain 1 and turn, just like I've been doing, and place 1 herringbone half double crochet across for row 10 for a total of 16. That's a completed row 10. Now we're on to row 11. Mark my row. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn, and I'm going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across for a total of 16. Again, this is a very nice pattern to do just to sit and crochet and watch TV. I love doing this pattern because as long as I just mark my rows, I literally don't have to think a lot as I'm crocheting, which is something I love about crochet, is it allows me to do something with my hands, feel creative, and yet not have to think so hard, and to be able to kind of just relax. It's a very relaxing process for me, and I love patterns like this that just repeat and allow me to relax as I do my craft. So just a little side note about why I love this pattern here. And there's a completed row 11. Now we're ready for row 12. Mark, we're ready to go. Chain 1, turn, and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And there's the completed row 12. On to lucky row number 13. Mark it. Again, chain 1, turn, and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch. There's your completed row 13. Row 14, another repeat. Chain 1, turn, herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. There's the completed row 14. Row 15, we're getting there. Chain 1, turn, and place a herringbone half double crochet in each stitch. And there's row 15 for our headband. Now we're ready for row 16. So again, I'm just going to keep tally here. So I'm at 16. Again, I need 23 total. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to turn. and then I'm going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across here. And now we're ready for our last herringbone half double crochet here. And that completes row 16. One thing to notice, because of this herringbone stitch, the edges of this kind of go up and down, up and down, up and down. And that's what we want, because herringbones, if you look at it, are kind of on a V. So because you have this V shape going across this way, you get the little indent here for the V from the herringbone. And that's what we want it to look like. So we're going to continue on, going on to the next row. On to row 17. So I'm going to mark it just so I can keep track. And we're just going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch all the way across. And here's our last one to complete row 17. On to row 18. So again, this headband is just really repeating quite a bit as we go along. So we're going to chain 1, turn, and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch. And here's the last herringbone half double crochet here. So again, there will be 16 total herringbone half double crochets across the row. Row 19. So again, for row 19, we're going to chain 1, oops, and we're going to turn. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch. And here's our last and 16th herringbone half double crochet for this row. We're getting close here. We're on to row 20. For row 20, again, chain 1 and turn. Then we're going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across for a total of 16 herringbone half double crochets. And here's our last herringbone half double crochet for this row. We've got 3 more to go before we switch things up a little bit. So here is row 21. So again, chain 1, turn, and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. All right, row 22. So chain 1 and turn, and 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across here. Here's the last one for row 22. All right, we're to the 23rd row here, and then we're going to switch things up after this row. So for row number 23, again, we chain 1 and we turn, and we're going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across here for a total of 16 herringbone half double crochets. And here we go for the last herringbone half double crochet of row 23. So now the next row, we're going to change things up a little bit, but there is 23 rows of our headband so far. Okay, so now we've got our 23 rows of herringbone half double crochets, so you can see what this looks like here. Now we're ready to start creating kind of the twisted part of this headband. So what I need to do here is I'm going to chain 1 like I have normally done. So this is row 24, so I'm chaining 1 and turning. Now I'm only going to place 8 herringbone half double crochets across here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get a little more extra here, 6, 7, and 8 stitches, and that's where I'm going to stop. Okay, So once we've completed row 24, I just want to stop and point something out here. Again, I want to keep track of how many rows I've crocheted here. I'm going to have a total of 10 rows where it's just 8 stitches across, so only halfway across here. So I've marked the one I just did. Now I've got to repeat this 9 more times, and I'll show you here. Again, using a piece of paper or a stitch counter of some sort really helps me keep track here. So now I'm going to mark here for the second row of this. This is going to be row 25 here. And I'm going to get ready to complete this row. So what I need to do is I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn. So now I'm going to place 8 herringbone half double crochets across here for row 25. So there's 1. So that completes row 25 here. So you can see what I've got going on here now. Literally only a half of a width I'm going to crochet out here. We'll eventually get this going here as well, but I'll show you that when we get to that point. So that completes row 25. All right, now we're ready for row 26, which is the third one of these short rows here. So this is going to be row 26. So for row 26, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn. So again, 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across for a total of 8 stitches. And that completes row 26. Now we're on to row 27, which is the fourth of these short rows. So chain 1 and turn, 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. All right, we're on to row 28, which is our fifth row here of these short rows. So we're about halfway done with this piece right here. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and again place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. I know it gets kind of repetitive here, but that's what makes it kind of a fun project to crochet while you're sitting watching TV or something else. You don't have to think as much about it as long as you're keeping track of the rows as you are crocheting them like I do. I just quickly mark it down, and then that way I can just sit and relax and watch TV, which for me is what I enjoy the most about crocheting, is being able to relax and be creative at the same time. So there we go. Row 29, mark it down, again chain 1 and turn, and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And that completes row 29. Okay, so now we're on to row 30. So I'm going to mark it down. It's the 7th of these short rows. Chain 1 and turn. And we're just going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet across in each stitch. Okay, row 31, and it's the 8th of these short stitches. Chain 1, turn your work, and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And here's our last stitch for that row. Okay, row 32 here. Chain 1 and turn, and 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And that completes our row. All right, so now we're to row 33. It's the last of these 10 short rows. So we're going to go chain 1 and turn. So we're going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across here for a total of 8 herringbone half double crochets. Okay, so now once we've completed this row, we actually are going to clip our yarn and fasten off, because then we're going to create this second side here to create the twist. And I'll show you that, all the steps here. So I'm going to grab my scissors, I'm going to clip off my yarn, and I'm just going to simply fasten off. So I do this by yarning over and then just pulling through the loop and pull the yarn all the way through and then just gently tighten it. Here we are at this point. So now we're going to get ready to create this side of the twist. Okay, so now we're ready to create the second side here. Then we'll twist these pieces over across each other. But we need to now join our yarn over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this up, and I want this side, because I'm a right-handed crocheter, I want this chunk that we just crocheted here on the right-hand side, because I'm going to be crocheting this way. So now I'm going right in here into this hole right here. I'm going to place my hook. Now this is the last stitch here of these 8. Okay, so I've got 8 going here starting with this stitch. So this is going to be my starting stitch. So I'm going to join my yarn here is where I'm going to pull up my loops. I'm going to place my hook in there. So hopefully you can see what that looks like. I'll set it down here so you can kind of see where that hook is going to go. So right here. Now I'm going to grab my yarn and I'm just going to drape kind of a tail down here. And I'm going to loop it over my hook. Just drape it over so it just looks just like this. And I'm simply going to pull it through that stitch where I have my hook. Now I'm going to get my hands in place, find my tail here, and pin my tail in place with my other fingers here. So tighten things up. So hopefully you can see this. Now I'm ready to go here. So I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to go into this next stitch here. And I'm going to complete my herringbone half double crochet here. Now this loop's going to be a little big, and that's okay. We're going to yarn over, pull through it. I'm going to come to the back, tighten things up again here, pin it in place, and then that way I can continue to move on. I'm going to place another herringbone half double crochet here. You'll notice that seems kind of loose. When I get to the point where I'm going to weave in my ends, that'll tighten up and you won't even notice that spot right there. So don't worry about this with it being a little bit big and a little bit loose. That's okay. So we're going to place a herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across for a total of 8. And that completes that row. So just like this side, we're going to have a total of 10 going up here. So I've completed my first row. So now I'm ready for my second row of this. I'm going to mark it. So now we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn and we're going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across here for a total of 8 herringbone half double crochets. And then 8's going to go right here. It's a little tight here for this first one. So we're just going to go in here and make sure we only pick up 2 legs. So that's what it kind of looks like on the top. That's what it looks like here going into that stitch. We're going to yarn over, pull through that middle loop, and yarn over complete. And that completes that row. So you can see here, this is our tail that still needs to be woven in, and we'll do that here at the end, and I'll show you how I get that nice and invisible there. All right, we're on to the third one here. So again, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn. We're going to place right in here. If you kind of pull it straight, you can see this space that we're going to put our first stitch into. We're going to go right here, yarn over, pull through that middle loop, yarn over, complete the stitch. Go into the next one. And here's our 8th herringbone half double crochet. And that completes that row. Okay, here's number 4. So we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn. We're going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across for a total of 8 herringbone half double crochets. And here's our last one. Again, it's kind of a slanted stitch. If you look at it from the side, you can see it. So we're just going right in here, just picking up 2 legs, yarn over, pull through the middle, and complete. And that completes that row. Okay, here's the 5th row. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. And then we're going to go into this first space right here. place our first herringbone half double crochet, and then place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch thereafter for a total of 8 herringbone half double crochets. And that completes that row. Okay, so we're on to the 6th row of this side here, so I'm going to mark it. Remember, we need 10 total here for this side. So I'm going to again begin by chaining 1 and turning. I'm going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. So now we're on to the 7th row of this side, so I'm going to mark it, and again chain 1 and then turn my work and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. Eighth row here for this side. We're almost ready to create our twist after we get 10 rows here. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across for a total of 8 herringbone half double crochets. And that completes that row. So here's row number 9. We're going to chain 1 and turn and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. Here's my last herringbone half double crochet for that row. All right, we're on to the 10th row here on this side. So after this, then we're going to create the twist. So we are going to chain 1 and turn and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across for a total of 8. One last time here. And that completes that side. Now, one thing I want you to notice is that my hook is here on the inside part towards the middle of our headband. If you're on the outside here with your hook, you're in the wrong spot, you're on the wrong row. So you need to be on the inside here, and I'll show you why here for the turn in just a second. Now we're ready to create the twist. So the very first thing, make sure your hook is here on the inside towards the middle of this headband. And then what I'm going to do before I do anything else, I want to chain 1 so that way I'm ready to go for the next row. It's just going to make it easier to do it now. So I'm going to chain 1. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this outside corner and I'm going to match it up with this outside corner. So I'll show you this move here. I'm going to pick up my work a little bit. I'm going to take this corner. I'm going to make sure to keep my working yarn out of the way. And I'm going to bring it over here and match it to this corner. I'm going to pull my hook out here so you can see. So you can kind of see what this looks like now. So it would be laying out like this, basically. Now we've created our twist. So I'll show you this one more time here. So again, first thing I did, I chained 1. I'm going to take this outside corner and match it with this outside corner. So that move looks like this. So with that being said, with my twist, I'm going to keep these corners matched up. I'm going to pick up my work, and I can even undo my hook here for a second. Just make sure I've got a big chain 1 loop. I'm going to pick up my work, and I have to turn it. So again, I'm holding on to my work. My hook is right here on this side now. I need it to be over here, so we're going to turn it. Okay, so I'm going to pick it up, get some stuff out of the way here. I'm going to put my hook here back in my loop. I'm going to pinch and hold. Now, again, it feels like it's going to take a couple of hands here, but really it's okay. So we're going to crochet across here. So I've chained 1. So I'm going to place a herringbone half double crochet here in this first space. I'm going to place 1 in the next one. So I'm going to continue placing herringbone half double crochets in the first 9 stitches here. I'll show you the difference on the 10th here when I get there. So I've got 9 herringbone half double crochets here. So there's my 9th one. Now with my 10th one, I'm actually going to make sure my corners are together, and I'm going to crochet these 2 sides together. So this stitch is kind of my joining stitch right here. So literally I'd be going through this corner, well, I would yarn over, I would go through this corner, and then I'd pick up the bottom corner as well. So you can see this big kind of sandwich we got going on here for that stitch, okay? So I'll show you one more time here. So I'm gonna put my corner back up here. So again, it looks like this. So I'm gonna yarn over like I do for my herringbone half double crochet. I'm gonna go into the first corner. So there I've picked it up, so you can see. So again, I'm going right here. So basically it's the first stitch of this side. Then I'm gonna take my hook and I'm going into the last stitch, which is that slanted stitch here of that bottom side. So you can see there's the top side stitch and there's the bottom side stitch. So basically I've got 2 stitches I'm going through. I'm gonna yarn over, pull through both of those, pull through that middle, yarn over and complete the stitch. Now I'm gonna repeat that one more time in this stitch. So I'm gonna yarn over. It'll be a little bit easier this time. You can see the hole between them. So again, I'm going through one of the stitches and one of the sides basically, and then into the other side. I'm gonna yarn over, pull through, go through that middle stitch, yarn over and complete. So then I'm gonna go here and I'm just gonna continue herringbone half double crocheting. So basically we have, again, 16 herringbone half double crochets, just like we had here for this row. And this will start building out and look more natural as we go along here and add more rows to it. But you can see we've created our twist already now. So that's how we join those two together. So after we've crocheted these 2 pieces together, we're going to simply continue on every row herringbone half double crocheting all the way across. So our next row is going to again be a herringbone half double crochet. We're going to have a total of 22 more herringbone half double crochet rows. So again, I like to just kind of keep tally of them as I go. That way I remember exactly where I'm at. So I'm going to put a mark here for my first one after the twist. All right, so again, I'm just going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn. So again, I'm going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. There will be 16 herringbone half double crochets for this row. And here's my last herringbone half double crochet for this row. So you can see if I lay this flat, we're starting to build out again. We're eventually going to get as wide here. Now it's the exact same number of stitches, but you just kind of grow from the twist as you go out. So again, that completes that row. We're ready for our next row, so I'm going to mark it just so I can keep track of it. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. So we're going to get kind of repetitive in here. We're just going to have a whole bunch of rows here of herringbone half double crochets across, 16 herringbone half double crochets in each row. So if you get kind of bored here with this, you can go ahead and fast forward here. But keep in mind, I will show you each row as we start, just as a reminder. And here's my last one. On to the next row, mark my row, chain 1 and turn. And we're going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across here for a total of 16. Again, repeating the row of putting 1 herringbone half double crochet in each. So chain 1, turn, all right, so we're on to the 5th row since the turn. So we're gonna chain 1 and turn, and again, 1 herringbone half double crochet in each. And here's my last herringbone half double crochet. Okay, so we're gonna again mark, chaining 1, turning, and then placing 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And here's our last one for this row. I'm going to mark my row and then start crocheting here. All right, 8th row since the twist. Just going to repeat here, chain 1 and turn, and place 1 herringbone half double crochet across. And here is my last herringbone half double crochet for this row. All right, so now we're on to the 9th row of herringbone half double crochets since the twist. Remember, we're going for 22 total. So chain 1 and turn, and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And here is our last herringbone half double crochet. All right, we're ready for the next one. And just like we've been doing, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And here's our last herringbone half double crochet for this row. Okay, so we're halfway there. This is row number 11, so we're halfway through our 22 total after the twist. So again, chain 1 and turn, and place a herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And that completes that row. Okay, we're on to number 12. Chain 1, turn, and place a herringbone half double crochet in each stitch. And here is our last herringbone half double crochet for this row. 13th row since the twist. We're going to chain 1 and turn, and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And here's the last stitch for this row. All right, 14th, chain 1 and turn. And again, place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And here's our last one. All right, we're working our way there. That's the 15th row since the twist. And again, just like every row, chain 1, turn, and then place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And that completes that row. 16th row since the turn. Chain 1 and turn, and place 1 herringbone half double crochet and here's my last one here. Now we're ready for the 17th row since the twist. So again, the goal is to have 22 here. So I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn, and I'm going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And that completes that row. 18th row since the twist. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And that completes this row. 19th row past the twist, so we're getting close. Chain 1 and turn and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And here's my last one for this row. Okay, row 20 since the twist. Again, chain 1 and turn and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch. So we have 2 rows left. So this is the 21st row since the twist. Chain 1 and turn. Okay, so this is our last row to crochet, so it's the 22nd row of herringbone half double crochets since the twist. So let's complete this and then I'll show you how to sew this headband together. So we're going to chain 1 and turn and place 1 herringbone half double crochet in each stitch across. And here's my last stitch. So now what we need to do is we're going to take and we're going to pull some yarn out and leave a longer tail here for sewing. And I'm going to clip my headband free from my yarn. Then I'm going to fasten off. And once I've done that, I'll get this all laid out and I'll show you how to sew this together. Okay, now we're going to sew our headband together. So right now I'm just going to flip this to the other side. There really is no right or wrong side. I just like to have this yarn closer to me, but there's really no right or wrong side right now to this headband. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 ends and we're going to fold them in to meet here in the middle. After folding in the 2 ends to meet in the middle, I'm going to put my yarn needle onto my long tail of yarn here. And I'm going to get ready to sew this headband together. So how I do this, I'm going to turn it like this. I'm going to take and I'm going to come and just catch this one loop that I had left from my chain right here. I'm going to catch that with my needle and then I'm going to go into this stitch over here. So again, my yarn tail is on this end right here. I'm going to loop over, come from the top down through that one loop that was left from my chain when I started this project. So right here, so you can kind of see what this looks like. Then I'm going to come over here directly across and grab the entire stitch from that last row that I just crocheted. So hopefully you can see what that looks like here. So that's where it's coming up through. It's kind of what it looks like there. And I'm just going to pull through. And I'm going to tighten. Okay, let me turn this again this way, sorry. Got to get myself organized here. So now I'm going to come grab this stitch here on the bottom, come grab the loop from the chain. I'm going to pull this through and I'm going to gently tighten. Now I kind of hold things in place right here at the edge with my thumb and I pull tight because I don't want to over tighten it to where this sucks in all the way, but I do want it nice and tight. Okay, come grab my next stitch right here and then the next loop from the chain, and I'm going to pull this tight here. Okay, and I'm going to keep doing this all the way across until I have this headband sewn together. So the key is just one stitch, one loop from each side, and then tightening, but pinching before you tighten so you don't over tighten it. So I come down from the top down through that stitch. Then I come from the bottom up through the chain stitch and pull it tight. Down and then up. And if you do this the right way, by tightening it the right amount and just grabbing the stitch in that loop, you should barely even be able to tell where your seam happened at. And that's the goal. We don't want to look at our head and go, oh, that's where that project was sewn together at. We want it to just flow seamlessly almost to itself. So that's why I really take my time here as I am sewing this across. So here we're getting close to the end. So there was the last loop. Now, the only problem is here is I have both of my yarn tails right here. Now I want to get the one that has my needle on it over to the other side, so I'm just going to come back over here and just put it through that stitch. So that way, then I have my two yarn tails on opposite sides of the seam. So hopefully you can see that. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to tie a knot. This helps for extra security. So I'm going to gently, one, and then I'm going to do another. Again, you aren't even going to be able to see this knot, but it's really going to help hold your headband together. So we've got it in a knot now. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to weave in my end. And I'm just going to basically, I like to go through, kind of pick up a few stitches here, going one direction. And then I like to go down like that. And then I like to work it back the other direction, just for super security so my end doesn't come out. And I'm going to pull that out. And I'm going to cut off that end. Now I'm going to weave in my other tail. So again, I'm just going to come down and go across a little ways. So you can see what that looks like there. I'm going to come in, pull it tight, but not too tight. Now I'm going to come down. Oops. I'm going to come down a couple of stitches like that, pull it through, and then I'm going to work my way back like this. Gently pull it tight and clip that end off. So as you can hopefully see or not see, you can hardly tell where our seam is. Kind of flows pretty nicely to itself, doesn't it? Well, now you'll notice I still have some yarn that I need to weave in. This was from my twist, so I'm going to have to weave in this piece and this piece. And then I also like to put a security stitch right here to keep this twist together, and I'll show you that here in a second. Let's weave these ends in quickly. So then this inside one, I really want to make sure I weave it in good so that way it's nice and tight. So I'm just going to go this way. Pull it tight. Again, kind of work my way down to the next row here. So you can see your headband is almost done here. Now again, I like to put a little security stitch right here, so that way my twist, as you can see, it can kind of come apart. So I like to put a little security thing. So I take one of my yarn tails that I just cut off so I don't waste any. I put it onto my needle, and then I'm going to go right down here. I'm going to pull it through. I'm going to stop like this. So hopefully you can see that. So it kind of looks like that. Now I'm going to put this back on here, and then I'm going to go down right here, right next to where I came up, and pull it down. So again, you aren't even going to see that stitch. Now we're going to flip it to the inside, and you can see where both of those tails have come through, and I'm going to tie a knot. There's one, oops, and two. And then I'm just going to weave in these ends, and then we'll be done. And that completes my herringbone half double crochet twist headband. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notifications for when I post new videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a blessed day.